Good evening, everyone. Sha'Carri Richardson's championship record performance to win her first global title at her first global event. Congratulations. It was an epic 100-meter final. I'm here to break it down, and we're going to talk about a number of things that happened at the World Championships today. But I have to say, congratulations to Sha'Carri. This is what we can now say is the intersection of talent and focus. We knew for a very long time how talented this woman is, but she finally put things together in a major way at the biggest stage, out of lane 9. She had to sit in the queue room. We knew someone from that semifinal would have had to sit in the queue room. It turns out it wasn't Jackson, it wasn't Talou, it was her. But she ran such a fast time that by the time we saw that, we knew there was no way she would not have made it into the final. And so she got into the final, but with the kind of lane draw, she went way out in 9. And I know there are some people who might be thinking that being out in lane 9 is a bonus. I suppose it's possible. You don't have to necessarily think about who is in front of you or beside you in terms of if they get a better start. But one thing is clear, though, is her top end speed was firing tonight. And she ran away with the title. 10.65. Shericka Jackson in second. And the great Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce in bronze with a bronze medal. And this is what you have to do. You have to admire a great performance. Moves her up, Sha'Carri Richardson, all time on the list. And we'll break it down in a second. I'll put up some of the results and we can go through it. And thank you, everybody, for joining me. We're here just talking about the World Championships, definitely talking about an epic 100-meter final. And so it's the first time the Americans are back on top of the podium since the late Tori Bouri did it. And for a very long time, Jamaicans are having their way. If you look at all the global titles since 2008, you have to look at only Jetta and the time that Tori Bouri would have won. And obviously, the rest of those are largely a result of Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce and Elaine Thompson-Herah. And yeah, it's always good to have competition. And I know if you have Jamaican roots, if you're connected to Jamaica, you might not be particularly pleased tonight. But this is how it is. It's track and field. You have to deliver on the night. And, there was a lot of media afterwards. Shericka Jackson said she was happy with her silver medal. She thought she executed as best as she could. Although she did acknowledge in her post-race interview that maybe her coach would probably say otherwise. And we could nitpick it. But when the other person runs 10.65 seconds, there's not much we can say, right? Even if there was a few adjustments that Jackson could have done, it wasn't going to be enough adjustments for tonight. And that's where it is. And I want to say a word on Fraser-Pryce before we go through some of the run. But to have had an injury-prone season, to have only run 2 races before the championship, and to still find her way on the podium, it just speaks of the character of this remarkable woman. A lot of athletes would not have come to the World Championship. She certainly has nothing to prove. But it just speaks volume of Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce to come there and to represent her country, represent herself, and to add to that great legacy. And when it comes to competitive sports, you have to deliver, and she certainly knows how to do it. I remember earlier this season, I said, there's one thing you can beat her. Can you get her off the podium? That's another thing. And I want to thank everybody for joining me. We go quickly to some comments before I continue to break down. Props to Richardson. We have a comment here. Let me just bring it over so I can see properly. She really delivered in a spectacular way, but Shellyan is phenomenal for being able to medal after injury. Certainly, welcome to the channel. Definitely, I mean, I agree with that 100%. I mean, the night belongs to Sha'Carri Richardson. It's a different Sha'Carri. We saw it, we know it. Even the way in which she was interacting. If you saw this earlier, even in the Diamond League, we got a sense of what was happening behind the scenes. Different kind of mindset, and even to just come back from that semifinal. I mean, obviously she ran well. I mean, that was the fastest semifinal ever. But she was a little bit all over the place. She was not straight, and to make that kind of adjustment to focus and come back, I think it's an important thing. You know. Hi, Britannia. Sha'Carri always had it in there. I just didn't know when it would come, and I think that's the same sentiment I have and a lot of people have. We just don't know when it would have come. And what is she now? 23. So a lot of upside, right? Big rivals that are still in the sport that we know are much older. Shelley and Fraser Price talks about going back to Paris next year. This is just ridiculous what she's trying to go and accomplish. We know Elaine would be, 31 or so. Jackson's still in her 20s or probably moving up to 30 by that time. And then obviously we don't know what will happen next season. The likes of a number of athletes could break through as well. But she's at a good moment where if she can capitalize on this, then, go to Paris and try to win that. I think obviously she will be amongst one of the favorites again. Then there's another World Championships. She can easily then start to deliver on what the talent is. And we know the talent is huge. And now you have to just start to deliver on that. And yeah, it's fantastic. Let's see what else. A few more of your comments. I appreciate everybody for joining me tonight. I know I came on a little bit later. I think Sharika should be doing more 200, 400. I don't know if Sharika will ever be a consistent in the 100 meter. Yeah, I guess this is what third year running it at the global level. She was in Tokyo, then she last year in Eugene, and then this year. There was some technical stuff there. There's no question about it. But I mean, she has the ability. I think. We know she has good speed and endurance. Maybe the speed wasn't where it needed to be, like the top end speed probably, but I don't know. And then what you're saying, I think Elaine will defend her double next year. I mean, hopefully. I mean, that would be good to see. That would put her amongst the greats. But I mean, she's already the great to do back to back at the Olympics. I mean, that would further extend the legacy. Let's hope she can. She's also, as you know, lots of injuries in terms of managing them. So we have to see what happens. But I wish her the very best. You want all the athletes to be at their very best. And this is what we wanted to. We knew Sha'Carri had a lot of talent if we were to go back to her. It just didn't work out for whatever reasons in the past in terms of mentally being there. And now she is, and she delivered. And that's a big thing. Yeah. What else is here? Richardson top end speed is world class, but the only athlete to me that has higher top end speed. No, that's true. I think if Elaine is at her best, I think if we look at the numbers, I haven't seen any new data recently, but I think Elaine may have registered probably the best that we've seen in recent times. And when we, at least in the modern era, when we can use the camera analysis, not on tape, but the ones with the high-speed cameras to break down the different segments. Some of that wasn't in existence in the past, and I think she may have had it. I haven't looked in recent times if there's anything different. And yeah. And so it's a matter of execution. And I suppose, like, if you want to, when you have, it's a little bit like a Noah Lyles situation for Sha'Carri. Like, if you're not way ahead of her, she might get you back, right? So if you're not executing early in the race, there's a problem there. Probably right now I don't know, to be honest with you. We'll see. We'll have to see. You had mentioned something quickly about Talou, so let me talk about that as well. So as you know, I mean, I have to feel it for Marie-Joseph Talou. Been around such a long time, probably didn't lose a race this season, look really good, different coaching setup. I don't know. I mean, was it because of the back-to-back fast from the time from the semifinal to the final why she didn't do much better? Because she's been having a fantastic season. And I would say if you're Marie-José Talou, you probably would have expected personally, even if people weren't picking you, and I know a lot of people were picking you, to get on the medal podium. And the reason why I'm saying this, you have to think that that third place spot was up for grabs overall, right? I mean, we didn't know where the medals. I mean, I guess it was initially, if you went into on form, it would have been obviously her, Sha'Carri, and Sharika Jackson. That's where we would be thinking, and a lot of question marks surrounding the great Shelley and Fraser Price because of interest. And this is the thing about Fraser Price; she finds a way to go on these podiums. It's a fighter. You don't last this long, and you don't win all of that stuff. And many of you may have seen the thing on social media where, or it was on news too, where she, I think Shelley and Fraser Price was making a little joke saying it's been a long time since the Americans won a gold medal, and Sha'Carri rightly responded, I think that's what I was hearing, that it was because of her, and which is true. So, it's tough for Talu. Look, a lot of fast times this season. Jackson ran 10:65 earlier this year too. It turns out that's the time that won the championship. The same for, I guess, Azarnell Hughes, his time also that he ran earlier. Noah Lyles won it. So you want to time those for the major championships. It's unfortunate, but these things happen. Talu, solidly beaten, obviously, 1081. Julian Alfred to 1093. Maybe this is also, a long season for her. We know this coming out of college. Global championships are hard to navigate. Last year she didn't have a good time, especially with the false start. But she's one for the future. Look at Suboda. Suboda herself had to get into the final when they decided to allow 9 people in the final because she and Dina Asher-Smith finished on the same time, and she finds a way to get a personal best 1097. She's always a great starter, but that's a good 60-meter athlete, and now she's in there. There's Brittany Brown. Dina Asher-Smith just didn't deliver. I think, I'm not quite sure why. The same for Davis, but they'll come back. The Asher-Smith thing is always something that I think about because usually Dina is an athlete that finds a way. And I think I was watching something on British. I saw something from the British broadcasters, and she admitted that she was in good nick. She just didn't know what happened. She couldn't find a leg. So we'll see. Good evening, Wallace. Thank you for joining me. You mean all time or currently? I don't know if it's all time. I think right now she is the top. I think right now for sure, but all time, I recorded all time, I believe, unless it's changed. I haven't seen one of the new analysis, and I'm talking about 10 by 10, the segment one. I think Elaine may have the fastest on that from Tokyo. But right now, yeah, for sure. Yeah. Let me see what Dina was injured and she had something, but she came back and I don't know. She said she was okay. I mean, but one of the things about Dina Asher-Smith too, and that's why I like her so much, is that she doesn't complain. She just, she gets on with it. She's not giving you all the details and so on. Dina is not being coached to her full potential in the UK. I want to stay away from that, Britannia. I appreciate the sentiments. I mean, there's a long-standing relationship that she has with what's his name? His name is slipping me right now, and he's a good coach. He's so I don't necessarily know if that's where it is, but I get what you're saying. All right, so yeah, it was a fantastic race, championship record, 1065 into a slight headwind, and it's good that you get good competition, 1072, 1077 on the medal podiums. Those are very good times, excellent times. And so it was an excellent race. 7 women sub 11 seconds. If you ask me, it was a much better final than yesterday if we were to go down on it. I mean, yesterday was also exciting, obviously. I'm not downplaying that, but if we were thinking about the quality, a lot on show, and it's good to see competition coming back from the United States at the elite level, because you can't really have or call a rivalry if it's only one-sided, and the Jamaicans have not only collected the gold medals for a significant period of time, they have done a number of shutouts over time. There's a shutout in 2008, a shutout again in Tokyo, a shutout last year. And so you want to see other people in the mix, and I'm not it makes things better. It also makes the people who are often dominant not to be complacent themselves. All right. So this is really good, and I really appreciate everybody for joining me. Let me know where you're joining me from and were you excited about this. How did your prediction go for these events? Was this Britannia? Yes, a good race. Was kind of disappointed about Jamaica not winning, but it's just Sha'Carri's day to shine. Yeah, I mean, like we can't. This is the beauty about sport, and like you come with. There's a lot of unknowns, and people have to deliver on the evening, and that was it. And there, it will come at some point. Like this is how it is. You want healthy competition, and it seems like you'll get some. Wallace is saying, I love my Sha'Carri Lynch. I'm American, but I love all of these wonderful athletes. They're all winners, including the ones that. No, this is a very good way of putting it, Wallace. Appreciate you for saying this is a good sentiment right there. I think the women in general over time have been carrying the sport in some interesting ways. And we know women are really fantastic, and sometimes they don't necessarily get the kind of attention and love. And we've been in the era of sprinting, we've been witnessing some of the all-time greats, especially in the likes of a Shelley and Fraser Price for such a long time to dominate and win that amount of medals. It's on what she's done to collect that amount of medals is probably won't be unmatched, because to stick around for that long and still be good at that age is hard. You have to be an exceptional kind of person for that. And so, yeah, this was a good night for track and field, and it sets us nicely for the rest of the season. A few kind of, I think there's some diamond leagues where all of them, including Elaine Thompson-Hero, will also be there. So that will set us up nicely for the end of the season, right up into the Diamond League final in Oregon in over September 15, 16. So I was trying to make it out there, but I'm not quite sure if I'll get out there for the Diamond League final. But that should be really good happenings in terms of the end of the season. All right, I want to move along because I know it's late, and especially for my thing. And I want to talk about the other final that we had this evening on the track, and I want to go to the 110-meter hurdles final, and we got to talk about Mr. Flamingo himself, Grant Holloway, three-peat, 3 in a row, getting himself definitely is already in the mix as one of the all-time greats when you add that to his second fastest time of all time, just outside of the world record there. Olympic silver, the greatest we've ever seen indoor over 60-meter hurdles. Holloway delivered, and I've said it a number of times, so I'm just going to repeat it. There's no better person to the first 8 hurdles than Grant Holloway. And so if you're not near him, if you're not putting pressure on him at that point in time at hurdle 8, 7 to 8, then he's going to win. And he delivered in a sensational way, running sub 13, 12.96 season best. I believe that might be third for the fastest of the year or something like that, somewhere there. And then the Olympic champion, the man that I think finds a way to get on the podium, whether he's half injured, whether he's struggling with a start, which is his mantra, Hansa Parchment of Jamaica, finds a way to get on the podium, and runs a season best as well, 13:07. And then as they say, third time is a charm. Daniel Roberts getting his medal, finally getting a medal. He's had mishaps at these major championships before. And my only wonder was what happened to Izumaya. I thought he would have performed much better. I like the kid Sasha Joya. I have a lot of time for him, that young Frenchman. I think he was saying some words about him trying to defend his home turf next year in Paris, but a lot of upside for that kid as well. So it was a fantastic race. Again, we can break it down in terms of what Parchment doesn't do or what he gives away at the end, at the first part of the race. And if he can get that right, he could be closer. And I think the only person that would have been close to a Grant Holloway, based on Holloway's form this season, would have been a Rashid Broadbell, and ultimately he had crashed out in the opening round of the hurdles, and that's unfortunate. But we got a great race. We got a good time. Anytime you can go sub 13 at a major championships, I'm here for it. And no wind, and hurdlers tend to not like a lot of wind anyway. And it was good. It was good. I think clean hurdling from Grant. I don't believe Grant even touched any of those hurdles. There's some things again when you get to hurdle 8 where once he gets off of that, there's some things he can fix there. But there's, what can we say? He's collecting all the medals. From Doha to, missed out in Tokyo for the gold. He got the silver, then he gets the gold again in Eugene, and now he's back getting another gold. The last person I believe to get 3 in a row was it the late Greg Foster? Greg Foster, I believe, was the last person to do that. So kudos to Holloway. Let me get to some of your comments here, because I think a lot of people are coming. I appreciate you on the live. I'm trying to see where I missed out on the comments. I think we had touched that one before. I'm gonna make you a theme song for your show. I like your show. That very kind of you. Very kind of you. Britannia is saying, when I saw Parchment at 50, I swear he wasn't going to medal. The usual, right? Like, he was way out there. Like, and I think if you ask Hanson Park, he was obviously gracious for his medal. He was happy to medal, and I think that guy's a champion in terms of his mentality. And he's been around for a while, so he's not a youngster on the block, very experienced. But I'm sure if you were to sit with him in a room, he knew that if he was much closer, he could have put some more pressure. But you have to be that close if you want to put pressure. Yeah, Grant is the best. What is Big C play? The hurdles race wasn't even close. No, it wasn't. I mean, there was a lot of Holloway. I suppose you're just saying that as an exclamation. I wasn't saying it was close. Hopefully, you weren't thinking that. Yeah. This is the worst. This is the worst race for Parchment. Yeah, I mean, Parchment is like that. I mean, he gives you a good start every 30 races, probably. I think I can probably remember on the back of my hand like 5 excellent first phases where he actually gets out well. But he got a medal, and that's important, and that's what you want to do. So yeah. All right, let's move along, and I want to talk about another event. We have another event coming up. Let's talk about let's go to the triple jump final, men's triple jump. That was a tough one. I mean, when we think about a triple jump, we saw the wonder kid out of Jamaica, Jaden Hibbert, the world leader, the only guy in the qualifications that went over the automatic standard. I think he had jumped massive jump in there, but gets on the track on the run up rather, and has to bail out, holding his hamstring, and ultimately had to exit the competition without any mark, and that's unfortunate for him. So I want to start off by saying hopefully Hibbert can get the treatment is needed. Hopefully it's not too serious. I mean, maybe it's something that might set him back for a few weeks. Maybe you probably call it for the end of the season. If you want to be safe, especially when you think about these long collegiate season, indoor, outdoor, and then to wait all the way to the World Championships. So a lot of talent there, and so unfortunately these things happen. Athletes get injured, but I want to do a special shout out, obviously, to Zango, because he's now upgraded from bronze to silver, I think, to gold. And that was an important kind of a feat for him. He also has an Olympic bronze medal, I believe. Martinez, 1764, Martinez, 1741, and the other Cuban, Napoles, 1714, a PB. So it was a good jumping, season best for Will Clay, but has not been having one of those great ones, and finishing down in 7th. But it was an exciting competition. Let me get to some of your comments in here. Let's see what I'm missing. Yeah, I think he would have. I think Jaden was the favorite. I think he was going to do something big, and I actually believe that he would have. He could have an approach 18 meters this year. I mean, maybe not quite 18 meters, but definitely a good 17, 90 or so. He, from all indications, he was in good nick. You know, they tinkered around with the distance of the step this year, and I think he's there. Yeah, yeah. Let's see what's everything was great today for the sport. I like that Sabota thing getting in like that. No, it was good, and it's I think I was having a message with all in the game, and he offline, and he was saying something about isn't it time to send 9 people into the final? And I was like, no, I don't think so because you want to keep that extra lane open just in case you need it. And I think you were saying when was the last time this happened, and lo and behold, they had to use the extra lane, and yeah, and so she had to sweat. Then Dean Asher Smith was ahead of her, and then they just put her in it. And Sabota, it's good to see. She's been around for a while, and there's ceilings on her in terms of how fast she can go. But she's much more of an indoor runner or a 60-meter runner. But good to see get into a major final. That's something of importance. Amber, yeah, I was wrong. I mean, and. But that's how it goes in the prediction game, right? I mean, I didn't, I had her in the mix to medal. I mean, I don't. If you're, let me defend myself and all the people in some ways. If you were absolutely 100% sure that you knew she was gonna win, I don't know where you get that confidence from, right? Like, I don't think there was any overwhelming standout going in. We knew, Jackson had the fastest time going into the World Championship, and we anticipated that she would have gone better. We knew Sha'Carri was running really fast all season. She was in the mix, so we knew she was in the mix for it. Talu as well hadn't lost a race either, and the guessing game was always on Shelley and Fraser Price, and we all knew this was going to be a big stretch for her, especially only running 2 races, and her knee and she's struggling with the knee. We knew that she was struggling with the knee. She's just not talking much about it. She's just now divulging. And I think here's the thing, to allow Shelley and Fraser Price to go on the medal podium, especially for Talu, and you have to question that. Why is she getting on the medal podium when she's clearly hurt, when they're basically patching her up to come deliver something here? So yeah, I mean, I didn't get it right. But I've gotten a lot of stuff right in the past. I mean, you could look at my predictions from last year. I got it right, but this is sport, and I love it. But I appreciate you here, and yeah, it's good for the sport, and I'm happy that you're engaging with the channel, and yeah, and I'm not mad at it. I mean, I think it's healthy. Yeah, and I don't think anybody, including myself, I think she was an extremely talented individual. I know that, as I said at the top of the show, this is when talent intersects with dedication and focus, and she delivered. So let's see. All right, where else? Yeah, Britannia, you're referring to Jaden. He has many more medals to come. Yeah, I think not only does he have many more medals to come, if healthy, and I'm going out on a stretch here, in a long time, I've never seen anybody since even, I guess, maybe Christian, when he came. He might be the closest to going close to Jonathan Edwards' record, right? I mean, if the ability to go there, because there have been others that come, and I don't know if I don't even think Edwards is the greatest of all time. I mean, he has a world record, but I mean, yeah, but we can talk about that. That's just me thinking out the top of my head. Yeah, happy for Zango. Yeah, he's done well. I mean, he's been in it for a while and so on. Come on, a lot of us had Sha'Carri down at 3-4. Great race from her, and her comments after were fitting for the moment. Yeah, I mean, I got. Yeah. I had her in the medal mix. I didn't think she would win, and she did win, and that's how I'm happy that I can. Everybody can be wrong, right? Like I mean, this is the great thing about sport. Yeah. Uh, hey, good evening, top boy. I saw Shelly injury and still pick up a medal. Really has the go for. Yeah, I mean, I don't even. I don't know if you saw. There was one of these interviews where she was saying that on top of what the doctors were ordering and everything was just they're just trying to put stuff on the knee to keep it in stable condition. Yeah, we knew we especially in that semifinal run. You knew that the first round she looked good coming out of it. The second round it didn't look so good in terms of how she um, got out of the blocks. And yeah, the kind of fight to just get into that mix is important. So I think she's going to rest up and we're going to have a really fantastic ding dong battle in the relay. Hopefully, everybody gets a baton around and we'll see what happens from there. Yeah. Uh, you heard Talu was crying after the race. I mean, I'm sure she might be. I don't know. I haven't seen any. I've not even seen Marie Jose Talu's post race interview. I'm not quite sure what she said after the race, to be honest with you. I don't know. Whose time will come? Are you talking about Talu? I, if it's Talu, I mean, I don't know. I mean, Talu, Talu's best hope was 2017. I think all in the game said it. I'm not. I don't want to steal his eye, but I knew this as well. I think she, um, and she's not young. She's what 34. I don't know. I think, and she's been, she's missed out on a lot sometimes. So yeah. I don't think she. It might be over. You know, not that she can't get into a global title championship again and do well, but it's tough. It's really tough out there. It's tough. I don't know if she can do it. What else? Sharika Jackson lost today's 100 final. What? Lost today's 100 final the day she decided to work on aspects of her race and allowed Richardson to run her down. Can you? What aspects are you talking about here, Brian? I don't look. The reason why I didn't even want to do an analysis on what Sharika did today, I don't think it mattered. I mean, even there's some points there, and I'm sure Paul and Stephen Francis will look at it and they'll point it out. But even if those were perfect today, she wouldn't have won. I don't think it was good enough. There was not 1065 in the legs or better today. It didn't look that way. And Richardson, won fair and square. Yeah. Yeah, she's 34 with these young athletes. Yeah, you're right. There's no time left, and so on. Yeah, we agree with that. All right. So yeah, so that's a fantastic thing. Thanks everybody for joining me. Don't forget to hit that like button if it's your first time on the channel. Welcome if you've been here before. I appreciate you for coming on. Let's. I want to talk quickly about another final before we get into some more of the stuff. I want to also go over the 400-meter hurdles and the semifinals for the women, and we can do a few of those things. Let's quickly talk about the men's discus final because that was also high-level competition, drama, everything that you like. I'm telling you, if you're Kristen Shea, you're like, what in the world did Daniel Stahl decide to do? Because it was good competition. These guys were throwing good. And let me start by saying, anytime you get a championship and people are going over 69 meters, it's high-level competition. There's a big benchmark there. And Che thought he had this one. He'd throw 70.02 meters. And Stahl comes right back in round 6 and lands a championship record of 71.46 meters. Ridiculously good. And Lechner, they're also medaling. His dad must be super proud. There's national records for the Australian guy, the Jamaican Frederick Dakers finishing there as well with a 66.72. But those guys were far off from the people in the medal stand. You had to be throwing 68 and above to get in, and it was very exciting. I had it on the second screen, trying to make sure I get it. I didn't pay attention to every one of the throws, but this was good competition, and the men's discus is in a very, very healthy place over the last number of years. And I'm telling you, if you're not prepared to be going over 70 meters consistently, then you might find yourself looking up at others on the medal podium. So I hope you guys enjoyed that. Our big sweet dude Daniel Stahl, I love that guy is something special, and he delivered. I was in between him winning in my prediction, and I thought Che may have pulled it out this year, but yeah, Stahl was like, that's my medal, and so it's gonna be that way for a while. All right, so that's where we go in the field events. There are some other field events today, like the opening round of the pole vault, but we can save that for a little bit later. Thanks again, everybody, for joining me. I hopefully you're having a good evening or a good morning wherever you're joining me from. All right, let's go to the 400-meter hurdle semifinal. I think I want to go there because that was some fireworks. I want to say a couple of things about the hurdles. We're in a different time. A different time. Because I remember when 48s could be getting you medals, winning titles. I remember if you run sub 48, you'd be considered a superstar, great in the sport. Now you have guys running 47s in semifinals and looking around easy. So it's just a different level. And I know there's a number of reasons for this. We think about the great Edwin Moses and his long streak and the kind of tracks he ran on. And then for a while, I remember when it was in Barcelona and then again in, was it Stuttgart? Stuttgart was 93, right? You had Kevin Young, and when Kevin Young dropped that massive world record, it stood for such a long time. And we said to ourselves, this is one of these things that are untouchable. Then the Viking comes and he destroys it. And then he went to the Olympics and took it down. And he's put the 400-meter hurdles at a point now where if you're not running 46 lows, mid 46, you might not make the table. And it's ridiculous. And so I want to go through some of these things because it was a fantastic semifinal setup. And we're getting to a point where I was like, it's unbelievable. First of all, semifinal number one, Karen McMaster. I love it. 47.72. Looks really good. Comfortably again. And this is a guy that I think he probably is just bored in the wrong time. I mean, and then obviously he's obviously struggled with some injuries in the past few years. So it's good to see him healthy. If he's got, this might be his time to medal, and I'll give a reason for why. I mean, I think Dos Santos, first of all, Dos Santos should not be here, and I'll get to him in a little bit, because from all the accounts, he was supposed to be missing this World Championships. So I don't know how much he still has in the tank, but he looks good as well, and we'll talk about him in a second. But Matt Masters needs to find himself on the podium this year if he's ever going to be assured of getting a medal. So that's one thing I have to think about. The same way I was thinking about Talu, you have to take your medal this year because you're not quite sure what will happen. Matt Master, this is the same thing for you. Unfortunate for CJ Allen from the United States in heat number one. He was running super fast all season, just didn't get it done. 48-44 outside the medal. And the Estonian Magi, running really hard at the end. And only two managed to qualify from this semifinal. But it was good. And if we thought that was good, then when we moved to the second semifinal, at that moment, we got the fastest semifinal in history. You have Rai Benjamin comfortably in a 47-24. 47-24, think about that. In a semifinal of a 400-meter hurdles. And then Dos Santos also looking fairly well, because at the end, he didn't push for it, top two comfortable going through. He runs a 47-38, which happens to be season best. So when we saw Dos Santos in that Diamond League behind Varham, and when he came off hurdle, was it 9? I don't remember if it was 9 or 8. He didn't look so good, and it looked like he jarred the knee a little bit. I was like, I don't know if he's going to come into the World Championship in any kind of good shape. Well, clearly he is. And then if we thought that was good, then we go to the final semifinal with the Viking himself, Carsten Varholm, which I said it before, is in world record shape. I think he's in excellent world record shape. He drops a 47.09. But not only that, we get the kid out of Jamaica, Rashawn Clark, world junior record, national record, 47.34, on the track, knocking because he run hard. And I was saying to myself, I remember when he broke on the scene and he equaled the world junior record earlier. I was like, yeah, he's going to the world championships. He should have fun. The kid should have fun. You know, no pressure, no expectation. But he finds himself into a world championship final. And he's what, 19 years old. Lots of upside. Trevor Bassett as well, dying at the end to make sure that he followed him. 47.38, also making it into the final. Likewise, the German dude in a 48.39, Abuaku. Excellent running, and it sets us nicely for a final to come. Sets up really nice for the final. And I've said it before, and I still think Varholm is the one to beat. I like what I'm seeing from Benjamin. There's some. I have to look back at the race because I don't know if they're all switching the legs now, and he's gone. I think he's doing. What is he doing this year? He's doing 12 sometimes and 13 in the steps. It's ridiculous, and so I don't know. I don't know what my only concern is. I mean, look, I think it's gonna be. Here's what is going to happen. I think definitely Varholm. I think Raya will get silver, and then third place is up for grabs. I think Matt Masters, if he can put something together, could definitely challenge Dos Santos. And I know I can't count out that kid from Jamaica, Rashawn Clark. I mean, he could shock the world and find his way somewhere there, but he must be in dreamland. Because to get to your first major championship coming out of nowhere because no one knows you and to deliver like that is a fantastic thing. And so whatever he does in the final, it will only serve him well. And so I don't know what you guys have. Put who you think. Who you think are going to be the 1, 2, 3 medalists for the 400-meter hurdles? Put that in the chat. Let us know. Thank you everybody for joining me tonight. It's a pleasure to be with you, and hopefully you're all doing well. And so that was really spectacular. Yeah. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button, notification bell if you really want to know when we go live again, when we drop videos. That way, you don't have to think about it. YouTube will tell you. All right. So that's that. I thought that was really good. The next thing I want to cover really quickly, and don't forget to continue putting your comments and stuff in the chat. I want to go to the women's semifinals of the 400 meters because I saw some really good running. And before I do that, let me check some more comments. Yeah, Sha'Carri did well, I think. Yeah, and Sha'Carri caught Sharika right at the line. What are you talking about? I mean, and okay, yeah, you meant on the Diamond League circuit when they get back. Yeah, no, yeah, everybody will be there. We're excited to see it because you always want to see competition, but the big Gemma's gone, so yeah, whatever happens for the rest of the season, it doesn't really matter. I don't think she would have she's already won the big prize for the season. But I know what you're saying though, Brian. All right, cool. All right, let's get to the 400-meter hurdles. Not hurdles, sorry, the flat 400 meters. Very, very good running there. I want to say, first heat there, Paulino, who I think will win the title, 49.54. Adelike coming in second, 49.87. Bolingo from Belgium, national record, 49.96. And Candice McLeod, after sitting in the queue room as well, gets in to the final, 56-2. A word on McLeod. I don't think McLeod was looking all that great this season, and then she finds a way to get into the biggest event of the year, and that we must congratulate. That's some guts. But I think this entire semifinal was structured by the Belgium. I think what she did to go out early and to push off the top made sure that the race was fast. That made sure that Paulina had to come, because we know Paulina has a really good kick. I mean, she can hang back and get back into the race. But Cynthia decided to push it because she knew that, if it's going to be a foot speed, she's not going to beat Paulina or Adelike. And good on Adelike to get into a major championship final, especially after such a long season in college. We've seen some athletes are able to manage that transition. Others, it doesn't happen to, they don't. But excellent to get into that final. I like that the Irish woman a lot too. I think she has a lot of upside as well, and so the future of the 400 meters are in good, capable hands. But I think Bollinger rather, uh, going out so early in that race is what set it up to ensure that she qualified, and I think in the end too that probably benefited the likes of a Candice McLeod. Second heat, I mean, Claver, class, looking really good. I'm not quite sure what Diggs was doing, had to get back into it. 49.87 to 50.86. But I think Claver is in the mix for a medal. The Netherlands are structuring up some lovely 400-meter women as well. When you think about Femke in the mix as well, if she wanted to run a flat four at some point. World Indoor title for record for Femke as well. So looking good there as well. And in the third and final heat, Kazmarek, also class. The pole, I think, having a fantastic season. Same with Williams. I think Williams was comfortably in that race, 49.58 national record for Barbados. And so I think we're having a lovely final. Sets up nicely for the final. I still think Paulina will win. I mean, could it be Kazmarek? Could it be Clavel? Could Adelike something? What about Williams? Could Williams find a way back on the podium? It's going to be a lovely event, a very lovely event. What are your thoughts on this? What are your thoughts? Yeah. Yeah. Let's see. Let me get to some of the current comments here. Top General, what are you saying? What even is for? You gotta help me out on that. I'm not quite sure what you're asking. You were talking about what events are on for tomorrow. Is that what you're saying? If I'm trying to read between the lines. And then the Viking Warrior look a little fatigued and just a bit off. You think so? I think he was. I think. I don't know if he was fatigued. He was hot though. I think early. I think I saw him with a lot of cool things around his neck. What I will say though, Keith, is that I think he didn't expect those guys to be that close to him. So I think he probably wanted to shut it down a little bit early. So when he made a check, he was like, "Where are those guys? Why are those guys coming?" That's how I think Carson kind of interpreted it. In terms of tiredness, I'm not quite sure. I mean, there's a lot. It's very hot out there, and we know the athletes have been complaining, and I think World Athletics has made some amends in terms of turning the air up more, bringing in some more industrial fans or something of the sort. So we'll see. And there are people checking temperature apparently. So yeah, but he has time. Everybody has time to rest up. So we'll see. Track and Fieldings, thanks for joining. Congratulations to the lady. Sha'Carri finding medaling. Good for her. Feel bad for Talu. She missed out again. Yeah, that's how it works. It is. It's good to see that the talent comes to the come. She. You don't want to see people with talent not actualize it, and so if you just step away from any kind of leanings or whether you like people or not, this is something that turned out to be pretty good. All right. Not quite sure what Doja Fox is saying there. I don't know if I want to put that up. Williams will beat Paulina. Interesting. You think? I think Paulina can go sub 49 for sure. Maybe a 48.9. I don't know. We'll see. if she gets it right, if she doesn't spend all the time wasting the front, and you like all the Poland runners, they bring what they need to. Yeah, I mean, this is where you want to bring it. You want to bring it at the national stage, and it's very important, right? So yeah. Thanks again, everybody, for joining me. I mean, this has been a good evening, and I mean, I've seen some other people commenting that I haven't seen in a while, and let me know. Smash that like button. I think it's good. Not that I'm just begging for you. I think what it also signals. I think when people tell you to do that, it also suggests that you value the content, and it's a signal that YouTube will probably want to pass it on to other people. All right. I mean, I'll quickly just go through the 400-meter hurdles for women. There's not much to talk in terms of breakdown. It's the first round. All the principles are still there. I think Rochelle Clayton looked really good. I mean, even Dalila Muhammad looked good. There was no real reason for her to really push through. It was an easy qualification in terms of first four in each heat went through, and then the next fastest people. I can't remember seeing any casualties. It looked really good for Clayton. So Clayton is through Muhammad, one of the pre-race favorites, at least medalists rather, not necessarily. I think it's overwhelmingly a Femke Bowl thing. Second heat had Genevieve and Russell. It's good to see Anna Cockrell running as well. Russell to Cockrell. Woodruff got through as well, 54, 53, 54, 68. That's the kind of opening running you want to see. No one is really overly exerting themselves. As long as you finish in the top four, you're fine. There was an area record for the Bahrainian Adikoya, 53, 56 in heat number 3. Knight from Jamaica also made it through. And I think I saw the Femke race was just by herself. I thought she was really smooth, and I think Femke must have something to prove, I guess, not necessarily to prove in this race in particular, but just what happened to them in the mixed relays, just to refocus and get through. And I think the last heat, Jess Knight from Great Britain, it was good to see her back in the mix. Little also is fine from the United States. I think she will be in the mix as well. So overall, I thought we got some good running in the opening round of the women's 400-meter hurdles, and that sets up nicely for a good semifinal, right? So yeah. So today was a lovely day, I thought, in terms of what we saw on display in terms of the track and field. Brilliant over 100 meters, brilliant over 110, lovely triple jump final, same for the discus, and it sets up nicely. Tomorrow again, only evening sessions, so we'll have the 100-meter hurdles for women. The heats are first thing on track. We'll also get to see 800-meter heats, so that I'm looking forward to that. The final of the men's high jump in progress as well, so that would be good. Women's discus final, and then we'll get the semifinal for the 400-meter hurdles, and then you'll get also semifinals for the men's 400 meters. And so we can look at that really quickly in terms of the start list for that. You're gonna have Antonia Watson from Jamaica in heat number 1, Sha'Carri Richardson from Trinidad, Norwood, and Wade Van Niekerk. You expect Van Niekerk to come out. I think Watson might, come out as well for because he looked really good for my liking. Semifinal number 2 has Dylan Borley from Belgium. I'm just looking at a few people who I think might be doing something. You got Karani James, which I'm glad to see Karani in the mix, especially when we think about the kind of season he's been having, especially losing his coach and all the other things that surrounded. Hudson Spit from the UK is in the mix as well. And I think the last one has, Sean Bailey, Stephen Gardner, Quincy Hall. There's some interesting things. Hopefully Gardner would be okay. He had to be stretchered off the pitch, not the pitch, why am I saying pitch, off the track. And I suspect he'll be fine. And so, yeah, I'm looking forward to some of these high quality stuff tomorrow. Hopefully you are doing the same. All right. Yeah, cool. Let me get to some more of your comments quickly, and then we'll see what's going on. What is it? I like all of, oh yeah, I did cover that. Unfortunate for Jaden, he will do great things in the future. Yes, Sonia, I did touch on it at the start. It's that kid has a lot of upside, and I think potentially you're looking at the next world record holder if he can, stay healthy. We all know the difficulty in the jumps on the joint, but he's young. He's 19. If you want a kid to have injury, you prefer something like a hamstring at his age as opposed to like a knee or anything like that. But you don't want anything, and so let's hope he. I would say they probably should take the rest of the season off. He has had a long season. I mean, I know he's on the circuit. He went his first Diamond League recently, but if it's a hamstring and if it's like a grade one, it's usually a 3 weeks rest and treatment before you get back in. So there's no real reason to risk it. I don't think this is a gem for the future. Let's what Keith has to say here. Going off beat a little, but watching the men's 100 I miss seeing Devon Allen in the mix at these championships. What happened with him? Oh, so Devon Allen is a professional football player. He plays for the Philadelphia Eagles. So actually, last year when I was at the Penn Relays, that's when he had announced that weekend that he was going to go to the. He's going to sign a contract with the Eagles after the World Championships, and he did that. And he unfortunately didn't go well for him at the World Championships when he had that reaction time false start, which I made a video about that, which is I think is a nice video. If you haven't seen it, you should check it out. And yeah, and I think he just basically does practice squad for the Philadelphia guys. And I think I don't know if he was cut and re-signed again, but he's with the Philadelphia Eagles. He was at Penn Relays this year. When I went there, I saw him, I think, but he's concentrating on football, I suppose, and practice squad of an NFL football player is a lot more money than elite track and field athletes can make, on the certain, excluding just making as an income, not even considering what you could add to that from endorsements and so on. I can see Jamaica pick up some more gold medals in the later. Well, let's see. Well, there's 200 meters for women. It's going to be competitive, but I don't know. Where else do you think these medals can come from? It's it's tough, right? Potentially, if things go well in some relays, you could spring some surprises there, but we'll see. And Rock Hill, I'm looking forward to see how Toby will perform. Yeah, I am too. I mean, look, everything I've heard, she was training hard, and she was trying to keep a steady focus, knowing that the appeals process will go her way, and eventually it did. But you never know until you see it on display. But women's 100-meter hurdles is in a very competitive space, even though you might be missing, let's say, a likes of a Brittany Anderson or so. We got Camacho Quinn. I think Neela Ali's on a quest, right? Kendra's you can never count out the former world record holder. And yeah, I'm very excited to see what Toby will do. It's gonna be fireworks in the women's 100-meter hurdles. Potentially, yes. I mean, men, no. I can't see it for men. I don't really. Not without mishaps. I think they'll do well to get on the podium. I think if they're competitive enough, they should be on the podium. I still think the US will win this very easily. Very easily, they should. If all things being equal, no mishaps. The Great Britain guys are in the mix too. Yeah, we'll see. Women, obviously. I think women have a good chance of winning. It will be competitive, but we'll see. And yeah, I think Sharika will do much better in the 200 meters. I think one of the things she has is great speed endurance, so if she can run a good corner and get off, and when she gets out there, once she gets into her top speed, she'll hold it much better than most, and it's hard to catch her back. So we'll see. We want to see also what Gabby Thomas does in this event. It should be a fantastic 200 meters to come. There's a day's rest before they get back on the track for that kind of stuff. All right, so I really appreciate everybody for joining me tonight. And if you're joining me back on the rebroadcast, don't forget to put your comments in the chat. I will definitely respond to them. I think it's always good to come live. I'll be back live tomorrow night, hopefully, and we'll be live all week, and we'll end out the track season, at least the World Championship season, in good form. I mean, stay safe out there. I appreciate everybody, and yeah, I mean, thanks for putting that up. My producer just put it up. If you really wanted to see the fall start video, that would be good. Yeah, and so on. Let me just respond to Rocky here before I leave. When I see the good comments, the rivalry will continue about Masai and Akira. Yeah, it could be. You know, I think Akira Nugent's the future. Same with Russell. I think there's a lot. That is the most competitive thing in track and field. Women's 100 meters. It's like you snooze, you lose, right? So you have to be on top of your game, otherwise somebody will take your food. All right, blessings to everybody, and you stay safe out there, and I'll catch you, and thank you for joining. Bye bye.